Master Rank. What the hell is it, you ask? Let me tell you. Master Rank is the achievement that all F1 players in the world set out to achieve. Forget about winning drivers and constructors world championships on career mode. That means nothing in comparison to this accolade. Only the greatest Formula 1 driver is capable of achieving such a thing. Not even F1 esports drivers themselves have this coveted master rank. They're too busy sweating time trial to even worry about it. But we are going to find out how long it's going to take, what the hell comes with winning the master rank, and if there's any kind of hidden Easter eggs that come with it. I'm going to be the guinea pig, and we're going to see just how long it takes. On previous games, we have done it before, and absolutely nothing happens. But let's see, on F1 2020, if anything is different. Here we are for the Road to Master Rank F1 2020 edition, and I can't wait to get started. We're kicking things off with a 25% race here in Canada. I've literally just thrown myself right into the deep end. No practice. We're going to load some kind of career mode setup, I would assume. Probably the Golden USA setup, because I never touch any other setup on the game apparently, so we're going to roll with that. So for the first episode here, we're going to get our placements. We are chucked in a lobby with other people who have no rank themselves, so you would imagine this is going to be a lobby full of noobs, and it's going to be quite hectic. 5 red lights, and away we go for the Canadian Grand Prix, starting from last place on the grid. Let's see if well, this can be a good omen for getting master rank in this series on this game. Turn 1, as well, I've made a crucial error myself getting up onto the grass, but thankfully we managed to keep the car clean and in one piece into the middle sector. Now people are pretty much skittling left, right and center. My PC is kind of freezing at the moment. I don't know if it's down to my my recording or my software or whatever, but either way, it was a stuttery for a couple of frames there, but hopefully we should be fine from here on in. But good positions gained. 6 spots gained off the opening lap, make that 7 spots as we move up into P8 in this Canadian Grand Prix. Next up, we have, I'm not even going to try and pronounce that name. Up in front of him, we've got Tom Shark. Let's see if we can catch Tom Shark and get in the mix for this race. And I really don't know what to expect when it comes to these like noob lobbies, these placement lobbies where no one has a rank, that being driver rating, but also safety rating as well. You got to treat everyone with so much respect, leave them so much space. Someone's up my inside, completely dive bombs me and punts the Tom Shark guy out of the water. And well, it's not Tom Shark. Sorry to Mr. Shark there. We nearly run into them this time, and we progress forward in this race. So I guess the goal for these races is really just to survive, to not have a stinker of a Grand Prix. That's really the aim. The placement is there to give you your baseline, and I guess the better you do in your placement races, the higher up you're going to be. It's a bit like Rocket League when you haven't got a rank. Just keep winning, and you're going to have a really good starting point. So that's going to be the aim. Hopefully we can get maybe a gold rating at the end of this episode, but we'll have to do a lot of winning in order to do so. So let's go about doing that, shall we? Lap 3, and we're making some good progress. We are now going purple as we have a bit of clear air ourselves, and we'll see what the pace is like relative to the leaders. Zabala up front sets a 13.7. We smashed that by 2 seconds on that previous lap. So we are well and truly on the money here in this Canadian Grand Prix. We just need to get through these guys cleanly, and the race shall be ours. I've done this, I think this is my 3rd time doing this series. On F1 2018, we could never get Master Rank. Luck was just not on our side. On F1 2019, we did manage to get it. But what is in store on this year's game? Sometimes you can encounter some absolute rammers. Hopefully, we don't encounter such people. Or people that recognize me maybe and just want to make my life a living hell. But you never know. You never know what you're going to get, especially in these lower ranked lobbies. But yeah, just like I said, I sound like a broken record, but we're just wanting to get through these races cleanly and with good results. A podium minimum is what we want out of every race, I would say. So let's see if we can go about achieving that. Up into P2 now. We overtook Lada there a couple of corners ago, and now we're trying to work away at the race leader here, who doesn't seem like he's got amazing pace either. So let's see if we can get him on this DRS straight. Maybe we're up into... Oh, we're not even up into Rich or overtake. Looks like we're playing it safe here, and we're going to maybe wait for DRS on the next back straight. But no, he makes a mistake, and we get up into the lead very early on in this Canadian Grand Prix. Last the first in a matter of only 6 laps. That's what happens when you keep it clean. Let's see if we can march on with this race now and command victory. I guess the strategy from here is to probably just stay out and stay away from everybody. Thankfully, all the lap cars get ghosted when you catch up to them, so you can't get taken out. Unlike previous games, I think like F1 2018, that was a problem. But my pit window was on lap 8. I've stayed out an extra 4 laps, just running in clear air, better pace than those on fresher tyres, surprisingly, into the pit lane, onto medium compound tyres. That was a very, very slow pit stop phase, but in the end, it doesn't take us off the winning spot, being in P1. We march on in this race now, and we went from leading by about 7 seconds or so to now leading by 22. The advantage we have in the field is absolutely ridiculous. Crossing the line again, instead of 10-1, fastest up of the race, and I think that will be all she wrote for today's Grand Prix. We'll just calm it down, bring it home, and collect our first race finish of this series. But more crucially, it's our first race win. Give me master rank right now, shall we? That's definitely not how it works. But regardless, first race win. Very, very happy with that. It's always good to get the monkey off your back early on in the series. First W in the books. And let's just look to march on in future races of more of the same, really. So we take a little cheeky selfie on the podium. Let's see if we can get a snapshot of us on every single podium around the world. Why not? But anyway, that's our first placement. I think we need to do like another 4 or 5 races, and then we will get our placement and we'll know where we stand. Some people in here have their placements. One guy's bronze, a couple of silvers, but no golds. One thing as well is like when you come up against better players, it's easier to rank up as well. So we'll get our placement, and then from the next episode onwards, we'll be placed into a better lobby with maybe other silver, bronze, or gold people, and then we'll just kind of go from there. But now we move on to the second target, the second project, that being the Brazilian Grand Prix. I've checked the weather for the race, and I've noticed that it's raining. So what I'm going to go for in this session is a wet setup. I'm essentially sacrificing qualifying, which is in the dry, in order to have a better race. We put in a pretty conservative lap, which gets us P2. This is a new lobby, by the way. But it means that we're set up well for the Grand Prix, which is going to come up in about 10 seconds' time. So let's see if that can help us. I loaded a Hanoi setup, and I lowered the wings by 1 click each. So I think we're running like 5-8 wings. There it is, confirmation on screen. And let's see if this works for us. I don't really have amazing setups. I've got a couple of good ones, but I'm not too sure about if I've got one good for the wet. So let's test that theory today. 5 red lights, and off we go for our second race in this Road to Master Rank series. Looks like an okay start, but not as good as the guy who shot up into the lead in the pink car, Mr. Big Pumpkin. That is a big pumpkin of a start if ever I've seen one. It's so good, I think he might have even jump-started, but we'll have to get confirmation on that from Jeff. But either way, we have jumped our nearest rival, Enzo Filipao, driver in front, trying to check the status of him, to see if he's got a drive-through or a penalty or what have you. But Jeff's not giving me any information, so we're going to have to overtake this guy on track as we go around the outside. He's giving us the big squeeze as we run into the middle sector, around the outside for the lead of the Brazilian Grand Prix. And we, Tiametmarduk, storm into the lead of this absolutely noob lobby. King of the noobs, I am. We can't wait till we jump in a normal lobby and we get absolutely spanked by F1 esports drivers. I don't know. We'll have to. It'll be interesting to see. Like, what happens when we come up against better players and more people jump in the game mode, I would imagine. I'd imagine like the proper lobbies are more populated than the noob lobbies. I mean, who is only making their ranked debut now, 2 months into the game? Me, of course, because that's a smart thing to do. But anyway, I've been waffling away during this race. We got into the lead. P2 made a mistake, which really eased the pressure. And then from there, everyone was squabbling over the minor placing, so we were able to march on and get another victory in this series. That is our second in a row. I could get used to this winning thing. Second placement chip is on the board. 3 more to go. And we will have a ranking. Let me know what you think it's going to be down in the comments. And I don't know if there's anyone watching who has got master rank. Let me know. I would be very keen to know what your thoughts on this year's game are. Like, because the F1 2018 was very hard to get master rank. 2019 was a bit easier with the way that they awarded points and stuff. The game was a lot more stable. Game is pretty stable on this year's game, so I'm hoping that it's going to be not impossible this year. But away we go for the third race here in Baku. We got pole position. We nearly binned it off the start there and with wheel spin. So that's something to consider for the start. Maybe take it off overtake on the starts and we'll go from there. But we managed to hold P1 in this race. Enzo has clouted the wall there. Interesting to know if he's got any damage from that. But the early stages of this race, Baku is a bit of a tricky one. I feel like it's quite easy to get caught up in mistakes around here. Like you can easily bend into the castle section or into that downhill left-hander, which we're approaching now. So in this race, I was kind of backing off a little bit. But as we head into this downhill left-hander, you might notice I've slowed it down. The reason why I've done so is because I missed my braking marker. And because I went in so deep, the only way I could avoid a crash there is if I cut the corner and avoided the massive curb entirely. Because sometimes that curb can absolutely throw you in any direction. It's a bit of a lottery. And so I decided to take the penalty of 2 seconds and managed to keep my car intact. So that's essentially what I've done. But old mate Enzo behind us has managed to stay within 2 seconds in this race. I decided to take a chance on that curb again to see if I could make up a second or two. In the end, it got me an extra penalty, and in the end, we lose the race because of that mistake we made on lap 2, I think it was. So that was the Grand Prix. Unfortunate, but Enzo was just faster. He pressured us into running a faster pace, and that was the result. But we move on to the next one, and the races are flying at us now. This is race number 4. This is the Spanish Grand Prix. A big mistake on my qualifying lap means I qualified only in P3, so we'll have to do a bit of overtaking in this one if we want to get to the front and win it. So we got Enzo on pole. He's pretty fast, as we saw from Baku, so we can't afford to underestimate him in this set of races. Here we go for the Spanish Grand Prix. 5 red lights, and someone has massively jumped the start, Pastor Maldonado style from the Belgian Grand Prix. But away we go. We've dropped down to P4. It might be P3 if we can overtake Enzo on our right-hand side. We get around the outside of turn 1. Thank you very much. The guy up front is definitely getting a drive-through penalty, so we don't need to worry about him all too much. Just hope that we can negotiate him cleanly. But we do need to get in front of Alte directly in front. So that is the target now in this Spanish Grand Prix. The guy who jumped the start is kind of laggy as well. Let's hope that he doesn't cause any issues for those up front. He's already getting absolutely pushed in this Grand Prix, heading up into turn 9. He's brake checked the race leader. What is this guy playing at? We're now going up the inside of the effective race leader, who now has front wing damage. We get squeezed on the apex, just like the AI style. But now we're going to lose a spot to Enzo. The guy in the orange car is just brake checked about 2 or 3 cars. There we go, steaming around the outside and into the lead. And are we out? No, we're still going. We're fine, apparently. We haven't got any front wing damage, but that guy has just completely ruined this race. what the hell is he playing at? So keep an eye out for the orange car in P5 or 6. Completely jumps the start. That's a drive-through penalty. He gets into the lead, holds everyone up, brake checks the race leader, then brake checks him again, takes him out, and then he follows that up by taking me out. This guy needs a timeout. Or frankly, maybe even just a straight up ban from ranked lobbies, because that's absolutely silly. I mean, it's bad enough to do that in unranked, to do that to people who just take their time out to just enjoy this as a hobby, but this is a competitive game mode, and you've got idiots like that taking people out. Guy seriously needs to get banned from online altogether. But that was the race. Unfortunately, it's a shame to win races like that. We did get into the lead, and we managed the pace to Enzo behind. What can I say? That's a real shame. I wanted to fight that one out with the race leaders because they looked like they were pretty pacey, and Barcelona is a track which is hard to overtake, so it would have been a good challenge. But oh well. We move on to the final race of the video now, and this is the Mexican Grand Prix. You can see on my qualifying lap, we've made a crucial error. We've extended on our qualifying lap, meaning we'll be starting from the back of the grid. We don't get our lap in. For a lot of these qualifying laps, I'm not really good at one-shot qualifying anyway, and I tend to normally back it off a little bit, but on that occasion, I just kind of ran wide, a bit of understeer, and that cost me the lap. So we're starting from P11 in this race, promoted to P9 on the grid somehow. Maybe a couple of people quit. I'm not too sure. But this is the final race of our placement, and we need to finish well. Ideally, if I can get back on the podium, that would be an amazing result. And we can get a good rank from there, I feel. Away we go for the final race of the noob lobbies. And it's been a pretty good start, actually. No way we take off the start there. We're not racing against AI. So that just shows what we can do when it's not stupid AI who have traction control. But anyway, into turn 1. Everyone getting punted from behind, including myself. Thankfully, no front wing damage there for me. People are just everywhere. Cutting corners, crashing. Yellow flags aplenty. But through all of that, we're in P8. So that's a good start in my books. If we can just come away with no damage, that is fine with me. Everyone is just crashing into each other. Some people just straight lining corners, not braking, crashing into each other. I don't know if they're griefing their friends or whatever, or carrying grudges from previous races, but either way, it's pretty shocking behavior to have in a ranked playlist. This is why it is so important to get out of this series, these lobbies as quickly as you can. It's like in iRacing, when you're stuck in rookie class, and everyone just keeps crashing into each other. You get tangled up in other people's incidents, and you never get the safety rating to progress out of rookies. That's kind of what it feels like here, but it's a lot easier. Anyway, racing ... who likes to squeeze you left, right, and center. I've got a couple of illegal overtake warnings to let him go back past, which has been frustrating, considering this guy's been all over the place. We'll see if we can get him now on this straight. I was going to have a go, but then I noticed he put it up into overtake and was deploying all of his boosts, so I decided to save mine, and we're going to boost out of this next little chicane here. I'd imagine he'd be a little bit low, but here we go, in the slipstream, up into overtake. We're going to see if we can slide up the inside into the middle sector, which we do, laid under brakes, and into P4. P2 is only 3.5 seconds up the road. We do have Enzo, who has been our lifelong rival in this video. He is forming an insurmountable lead, I would say, at this point in the Grand Prix. I think he's leading by like 7-8 seconds. I think that's a little bit too much for me to catch, but I can get P2 in this race if I keep it clean, and there is no foul driving from any others in this Grand Prix. I guess we'll have to wait and see, though, as we've got a purple Marduk Motorsport looking kind of car on our left hand side. We get past him, up into overtake. We're now on the podium in this Mexican Grand Prix. Can we dive bomb P2? Johnny White, I thought about it, but no, we'll be patient. Patience is a virtue in this series. Patience will pay off. That's one thing I've learned from previous times of doing this series. If you rush overtakes, if you get impatient, that's when mistakes happen and you will plummet in terms of online rank. That is not what you want in this series. So we're going to take our time. Looks like we might be able to have a go here with the DRS and overtake into the stadium section up the inside. And that is us up in a P2 now with the race leader Enzo 7.7 seconds up the road. Let's see if we can make a dent into that lead if we can. We do go purple on lap 4, 116 flat. And that was done while negotiating a little bit of traffic and also not running with much overtake. On this last lap, we're going to see if we can lower that marker even further. And I don't know, it might be worth just pushing here because you never know if the car in front will have penalties. It is easy to rack up penalties with strict corner cutting rules in ranked, especially in Mexico. And, 6 seconds worth of penalties is doable. So we're just going to keep pressing on. We don't have any penalties of our own. So that is encouraging. We've already gapped P3 by over 9 seconds in just over a lap and a half, which is pretty crazy, to be honest. The skill gap in these lobbies is absolutely crazy. But that's the thing. As we go further and further into this series, we're going to come up against better and better players. And being able to keep up these results will just be that much more satisfying. Up to the line, it's P2. We do get the fastest lap at the end of the Grand Prix. We improve by another 10th to dip into the 15.9s. Oh, I'm out of breath. I'm actually out of breath. I've been chatting honk this whole video, 20 odd minutes, and now we're going to see the result of all that hard work we've been putting in. 5 races back to back, and let's see what the rank is. Oh, okay. I will definitely take that. If you would have told me I'd get gold rating at the start of this episode, I would be very, very happy with that. I think in previous episodes, we've started off like silver rank 2 or silver rank 3. But we did pretty well. We've won most of our races. If not, we got on the podium in every single one, despite having, little setbacks here or there. But gold rank 1, that is doable. That is definitely doable indeed. I think that gives me a rating of like 2,000 or 2,100. I know that Master Rank kicks in at about 2,600. So we need to gain about 500 ELO points. And as we come up against better rated players and beat them, then we'll be able to make some big chunky strides towards that Master Rank. But guys, that has been this episode for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you leave a like. Subscribe to the channel if you're new to see plenty more racing game content. I really do enjoy doing the online videos, and the Road to Master Rank series is no exception. So if you guys want to see this more regularly, make sure you leave your support by leaving a like and letting me know what you like about the series. If there's anything I can do better to improve it, then feel free to let me know, and I will endeavor to do so. But with that said, thank you so much for watching. Really do appreciate everyone who clicks onto the videos, especially the online ones. Career mode, it's almost expected that those videos get lots of views, but online it's a little bit hit and miss here or there. So I do thank everyone who does tune into these videos. Personally, I always think online racing is way better than racing with AI, but that's just me. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Until the next one, I'll see you next time.